Hello, entrepreneurs, artists, and creators. This is Dave with Founder Dojo. Hey, I wanted to pick up on the next episode here. I think this is episode 9 of Back from the Abyss. So it's been 3 months almost since my last recording, so I want to give you guys a quick update. Just to recap, going through a process of coming back from rock bottom, and I wanted to document what I'm doing to accomplish that because I think everybody at some point gets to a place of rock bottom, so I think this would be instructive if I just go through in real time what's happening. And we've already talked about the importance of replenishing yourself, seeking clarity, developing target slides, which are things that you want to experience, going through a clearing process, getting into the right state, projecting your consciousness into that state that you want to live in, living it as if it's already done, living in the law of assumption. And then today I want to talk about shifting because over the last 2.5 months, things really have started to shift. And this happened almost instantly from the moment I started shifting my identity. So I want to give you a quick summary of that and tell you some of the details of what's been going on. So as we talked before, this is just a very simple graphic. Sorry, that's the wrong slide here. Simple graphic where you have your current reality of all the things that you're experiencing right now that you don't really want. Like for me, for example, I'm spending way too much time driving, trying to get this Joyride startup going, and it's really affecting me and my ability to earn income because you really don't make any money when you're doing this kind of work. And then the target slide is me, making $1 million or more, 100,000 a month, doing what I love, building my flourishing startup studio. So I want to go from here to here. And these bridge experiences are different things that have popped up. So I don't want to go through all these examples here, but basically ideas start to come into my mind, inspirations, whatever, things that could help get me from my current reality into my target. And then, of course, the key is to not think of yourself as getting there, but to think of yourself as already there. You're already in the target slide. You're living there. So as soon as I defined that target slide, and as soon as I projected my consciousness into it, things started to move. And it's important to pay attention to these things so that you can appreciate them and use them as evidence that you're headed in the right direction, that it's happening. So this is what I would call my target slide, which is kind of this vision that I want. My beach house on Jupiter Island. I'm right on the beach, so I go kayaking every morning. That's my actual kayak. I've got some nice cars. I also like to do a lot of, this is wing surfing. I actually haven't done this yet. I've done lots of different board sports, but I really want to try wing surfing, which is just this wing that you hold on to. It's a kite basically, and you are on a hydrofoil and you're going crazy across the water. And then of course, beautiful women. I had a hard time picking between these three gorgeous ladies, so I decided to put them all up there. And who knows, maybe I'll have three girlfriends and each one will have 3 kids, and so I have 9 more kids in the next couple of years. Hey man, crazier things to happen. This is my target slide, okay? I could define it however I want. Okay, so a couple things happened. I had this idea of hey, one thing that would help me feel or be in the target slide is to be operating as a startup CEO, which is what I do. And so a number of opportunities came up, actually a lot. There's an opportunity at Rare Bread Coffee. The founder, this guy Jeffrey, invented a new kind of ingredient to put into coffee. And so I had an interview with him. He unfortunately never got back to me. So he kind of totally ghosted me after one interview after telling me hey, I want you involved in the next round. So I don't know what's going on there. They're not profitable. Maybe they're running out of money. Products That Count is another one. This is kind of an org that's actually making money helping product managers improve their craft at companies. I had a great meeting with the existing CEO. She's really awesome, Hoda. And by the way, I decided to reveal all the names here, and so I don't really care if you're upset about anything I say. I don't mean to offend anybody. I just want you guys to know like the reality of what's happening here. So Hoda was amazing. I just met her through a Zoom call, Zoom interview. She's great. I love her. Unfortunately, the founder, this person SC, I couldn't stand her. We had terrible chemistry in the interview. I mean, by the end of the interview, I wanted to throw up. That's how bad it was. So that's a good sign. Like, if you feel like you want to throw up at the end of the interview or the end of the meeting, it's probably not the right path for you. Okay. Mechanism Ventures, this is also a very interesting one. They are a startup studio. So when I first came across this, I was like, oh, this is perfect. They're looking for a CEO for one of their startups, and I could help at the studio level as well. So I interviewed with Lindsay, who's the recruiter. She was great. She was great. Like, very, very excited to meet me. Obviously saw the fit from her perspective. And then I met Brandon, and Brandon's one of the founders. I guess he's a co-founder of Topdol as well, which I think was his first startup, which has been very successful. And he's also a chemical engineer like me. So I was like, okay, this is like kismet. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening here. This is definitely the one. I went through 2 kind of case interviews. I felt like that was all going well. I gave them my honest opinion on what I would do with the business. And maybe they didn't like what I wanted to do with it because they didn't hire me, okay? And that was disappointing, but in that process, it was good because I got to look at all the companies they had created, and frankly, I didn't like any of them. Like, I thought the pipeline of ideas I have is better than what they're doing. And they're also a lot less experienced running a studio. They're making all kinds of mistakes, in my opinion. So I was like, okay, maybe this is not the right one. So it's probably a good thing that they didn't want to proceed. Elder Beacon is another example. This was a startup founded by essentially consultants. They've been working on this thing for 3 years. So surprise, surprise, as consultants, they're not very good entrepreneurs, to be honest. They have no traction. I couldn't see the product. I don't know what this is all about, but to me, it was another example of like, hey, I've got a ton of experience, building startups, and most people don't have this level of experience. So for me to join them would be kind of out of balance. And so I think the solution there is to offer them an opportunity to join Founder Dojo, where I could teach them what I know about building startups. So I did that. I got no response, so they're probably not interested, and that's okay. Gruntwork was another opportunity. This guy, Zach, he's a really great guy. I had a wonderful meeting with him. He decided to go some other direction. I have no idea. I got no feedback on this. Pearl, similar. I got interviewed with this recruiter at Pearl. Her name is Hazel. She was like the ice queen, man. Like, she was the the least personable person I think I've ever talked to. We had a Zoom call, but she wouldn't turn on her camera. I don't know, maybe she didn't shower that particular day. Which is fine. But it was more than that. It was just like, she was just this ice queen. And so we had a good discussion. My understanding of their qualifications, yeah, I mean, I totally meet them, but they wanted to talk to somebody else. I did not move forward with that. So all these experiences, this is a lot, right? This is like 6 startup CEO roles that just kind of came out of nowhere. And I was, looking around a little bit, but they all kind of reinforced to me. Obviously, they didn't move forward into an opportunity, so that's something there. And then I started asking myself, well, do I really want this? Like, do I really want to work for someone else, or would I rather, build my own businesses? And that answer is really easy. Yes, I would rather build my own business, But of course, if you get a job, you get paid right away. And so there's this whole financial thing. So anyway, these were actually really helpful in guiding me. So I'm using this as an example of, things that are helpful to you are not always things that work out exactly the way you want, And so these are all really good examples. And I think what this confirmed for me is like, yeah, what do I really want to do? I really want to build my startup ideas out, right? That's what I really want to do. That's, I think, the best use of my talents. Okay, here's the other significant thing that happened. There are 2 main studio constraints in the studio. There's no market to fund 0 to 1 projects. Like, funding a startup studio is extremely difficult because nobody wants to pay for the 0 to 1, okay? So this is a huge constraint. I've been dealing with it for over 20 years now. And then these capital requirements are limiting. But the breakthrough that happened, there's two things. One, Gen AI coding tools. These coding tools are reducing the amount of effort, the amount of labor cost in building new applications. That's massive. You can take a project that was normally 6 months, whittle it down to like a month or two. The second thing that's an even bigger breakout, I think, is I met this guy, Meg, who created this company called Founding Teams. And what he has built is essentially a network of mostly engineers that are willing to work part-time. So they have full-time jobs, but they're willing to spend 16 hours a week on a part-time basis working for equity in a startup. So he's built a network of these guys who are interested. And the reason they do it is because they want to join a startup. They don't want to work at their stupid 9-to-5 job. And so they can kind of get this thing going on the side. And if the startup project works, can generate revenue and or get funded, they could then come on full time. So this is huge. This solves a huge problem. I immediately looked at it and said, let's fund all of our MVPs. Let's get teams going on all 5 of these projects so that we can get MVPs in the market. So along with that, as I was sorting through this opportunity with Meg, I started to get real clarity on the projects. We have 5 projects now in the studio. We have Joyride, which is a rideshare application where drivers can keep 100% of the fare. We have C-Value, which is a marketing AI platform that automatically optimizes marketing contribution and EBITDA. We have Free Thought, where we help creators monetize ad-free, censor-free content. We have Founder Dojo, which is a startup school, a mentorship platform, an accelerator, and a seed fund. And along with that, I actually responded to a LinkedIn post from a section mate of mine from HBS, Reza Satchu, who's now a professor there. He's the most popular professor at HBS, is my understanding. And he helped me understand that 28% of business school students are now building startups, which is a complete shift. When I went through, it was probably like less than 3%. So there's a lot of interest within that generation of business people that they want to build startups. So that led to an idea of putting a Founder Dojo fund together, focused on HBS community and Stanford community. And Jeff Wilkins, who's a friend of mine, serial entrepreneur, he went to Stanford. I reached out to him and said, hey, do you want to get together with me to put this fund together? So I kind of pitched him on this idea. He's mulling it over. I don't know if he'll do it or not. But it was helpful as another like cooperative component that kind of moved that project along in my mind. And then there's this opportunity to build a SaaS platform on this as well. And then the last one is YouBaby, which is still a big opportunity. Moms, when they have a baby, they don't want their photos and videos plastered all over the internet, which is what will happen generally if you put it on Facebook or some of these other platforms. You lose all rights to the content. So we're developing a secure way to do this. So we have 5 projects. We're staffing. Joyride is fully staffed. C-Value is fully staffed. Free Thought. So we have most of these staffed now with equity-based teams. So hopefully this helps you see how I moved from being like stuck, driving every night into actually operating the studio. So Insight Studios is operating, and we're building startups for very little capital, essentially zero capital. And if you look at cash over cash return is how much money did you make divided by the money that you put in. Well, if you put in 0, the return is infinity, which is an interesting mathematical thing. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. This is what I mean by shifting. When you shift your identity and you commit to this target slide, back up here, then your reality starts to rearrange itself. And this always happens if you allow it to. So hopefully this is helpful. I want to end here with this kind of summary of where we are on the progress, and then I'll follow up next time with a little bit more, some additional thoughts on how to get to the target slide and create the reality you prefer. Okay, thanks guys. Until next time.